Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the program Voice of the Voiceless. As usual, we hold it every Saturday. My name is Toyin Morafa, and I'll be presenting, the way I do every week. With me, I have very privileged to be able to interview the young lady that we have in the studio now. Her name is Michelle Akintoye, and she's a BEM. She's the owner of Castle Stars Educational Day Nursery, and also the founder and CEO of Brita Freak, which is a not-for-profit organization that supports and encourages young people in education and to become mentors to younger children whilst providing role models for the youth to work with. Welcome to the studio. Thank you very much, for attending this interview.
Thank you, Toyin, for inviting me, and thank you to the Heritage TV station for having me here today. Thank you.
All right. I'm just going to launch into it like I normally do every week. And the first thing we'll be doing now is I'll be asking you to speak to the people and, let them know who you are. Introduce yourself better than I've just done now.
Okay. My name is Michelle Akintoye, BEM, British Empire Medal holder. I am the owner of the Castle Stars Educational Day Nursery. I also run Brita Freak youth organization that we currently run at the House of Parliament at the moment. Brita Freak exists to support young people, to give them the voice and the platform to express views, ideas, and to gain access to provisions such as mentoring scheme, putting them through a lot of opportunity for developing their future skills and expertise.
So is it for every child, or is it specifically, for troubled youth or youth that are trying to find themselves now?
It's for everyone, to be honest, because you need, there's no bad child or youth or young person, people. The environment makes a child, and everything that the child goes through is from home.
That's true.
So I wouldn't really have any, I don't usually think about children or any young people as someone that has a problem. I think the problem is the environment.
Oh, I see.
And how they've been exposed to what they've been exposed to and what brings them to what they are. And so the point of myself and as an organization and the rest of us is to actually do a kind of reverse psychology to try and change that concept that there is no bad youth, but the one that are already going towards that side of becoming corrupt or exposed.
Or challenging.
Yeah. We try to revert and divert their mindset by using different activities and opportunity that is available, like what we do in the House of Parliament.
Right.
But before I go into the youth, you notice that I'm an educator.
Yes.
I'm an academician, and for me, the early years is the beginning of a child's life. From between the age of 0 to 5, you can actually start to model a child's life, which is why my day nursery is important. Is
that one of the reasons why you set up your nursery school? By the way, she's the owner of, and she runs Castle Stars Educational Day Nursery people in Kingston. Is this one of the reasons why you set this up?
Yes. So Castle Star is there to actually help to look into, to give a solid foundation for a child of between the age of 0. I would say from 8 months when the mother have to go back to school, we do take the children from that age of 8. But what you're doing is you're actually providing the child with an opportunity to start socializing. At the age of a baby knows a gibberish, speaking from a very young age to a child of 8 months. You actually you're setting up their mind, psychologically prepare them for language, not doing Google or gibberish word. You're properly talking to a child from 8 months. You're providing them the language. By the time they're 10 months, 12 months, they've already have just a common way to say hi and bye and all that. Little greetings is important. So yes, initial foundation stage start from that age, and then going up to when they're 16 months, they understand yes and no idea. Because by the time before they clock 2, you need to have a rules and regulations set up and boundaries, so they can understand that you can't have that biscuit because you just had a meal. And they'll test you at 16, 17, 18 months, and that's what we call it. By the time they're 2 years old, they already know how to test an adult.
Sorry to cut you off. We actually had we had somebody on the program, and she actually said what you said, and she was sharing the way she dealt with her kids when they were young. You know, like when to say no and when not to. You know, because of your educational background, do you find it easy, or yeah, that's the word do you find it easy to find out when children are developing, like, you know, like problems, or they're going to be like problem children right from time, and do you attribute that to the parents?
So, as an early year professional,
Right.
part of my training is to I'm specialized in behavior management.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
So I deal with children, pregnant mother from 0 to 19 years old.
Oh,
so my specialty is dealing with managing behavior or challenging behavior.
I see.
So, and because part of the psychology of that is that you need to understand the child. They need to have a boundary. They need to have a freedom to choose to be a child, playing, sets everything up nicely. But the aspect that needs to be reinforced is the behavior. Because once a child doesn't understand the concept of no, you can have it later. No, because it's hot. No, because you have to wait. You know, those little concepts of sharing, caring. That's the starting point of a child learning how to wait and not to rush and run and want something now, like we have now with the new generation. They want to click their finger and have it.
They have it.
So the concept of doing that, managing that behavior and helping them to educating them at that initial age is actually what is going to help them to grow into an adult that will understand that you can't have that. You have to work for it.
Yeah, but you know,
you have to wait for.
That's true. But in this day and age, with the government that we have, they're doing a lot. They're trying to help a lot. But a lot of parental responsibilities have been eroded due to the laws and legislations that we have now. So is that one of the reasons why these children don't understand the concept of no? Because sometimes you're trying to establish it, you understand, but the law wouldn't let you.
Right.
As a parent.
So I wouldn't think any law have any rights over any parent to be able to discipline their child in a very non-physical and non-abusive way.
Right.
So when a child is not behaving themselves in terms of not listening to, once you've given them everything that they need, they've eaten, they've had, they've been changed, they're well clothed, and they're not cold, and anything else that they can play with is theirs. But the boundaries are what is on the table that is hot is not to be touched because it's hot.
Yes.
That concept of having that understanding that you can't do it, and it's not, it's when parents start hating their children and say, don't do that.
Right.
You're physically teaching that child how to be physically aggressive.
Right.
And that's why we shouldn't do that to, oh, don't do that, darling. I would like you to stop that, please. And they will think and say, okay, because you said please. They understand the concept of being nice and being modern and being, you know, and civil.
Yes.
So rather than being aggressive and hitting the child. So they would then, okay, why? Because that stopped them from thinking about it. Oh, she said it politely. Okay, let me listen to her. That's the respect that you get from that child, from using that kind of, could you not do that, please? And they'll say, why? Because it's hot.
Right.
Why? Because you're going to burn your finger. Why? You end up in hospital. You've got to give them the explanation of it, not just saying, don't do that.
Well, not said because I said so.
Yeah, like other parents do. Yeah. It's very African. You can't say, and the child, okay, because you said so, because then the child will think, okay, because I have a right to do that. Yeah. What are you going to do when I do it? And they push. So there's no government that will actually stop any parent from not telling their children nicely not to do something. And in fact, as they get older, they understand.
Right.
But if there's nothing, like, if you're not giving them that opportunity to understand why they can't do this, and you carried on, and so that's why the build-up of lack of control. And then some children will try and test regardless of how you explain to them. That's the one that you have to take a bit further to say, look, if you do that again, you're going to go to your room for another 5 minutes, or you're going to lose your. So start building in reward to response.
Oh, right.
So every time you're not being responsible because you're not acting responsible, you're going to lose your right.
That's all right.
So that's the kind of thing that parents should be doing. I know social services or any authority can tell you what to do. But as they get older, if there's a child that have a need, you will specifically notice that the child cannot respond to your age because they might have a need. Not to have that. So ADHD, autism, dyslexic, dyspraxia, all sort of special need can have an impact on why that child can't listen. Because, and then if you kind of weigh that option and look at it, is there something wrong with this child hearing? It's not that I'm not making an excuse for a child that is not behaving well, but I'm just saying that sometimes it could be there could be an interaction between that kind of a special need and the behavior how to manage their behavior.
Right.
But once you know that the child is not special need and they're just playing on your intelligence, then you have to reinforce more behavior. So that's how this is how the foundation stage started. So in nursery, that's what we do. Reinforcing positive behavior, teaching them the early curriculum about maths, learning about one and one, how many items can you find there, teaching them how to speak accurately and eloquently, in a very good way that as soon as they get older, they can actually manage to speak properly in public and school. So there's this foundation stage curriculum is the beginning of a national curriculum. So it's have all the 7 aspects of the learning: the maths, the literacy, the physical, where they have to go to park and play. It has the concept of the PSD, which is personal, social, and emotional, where they have to kind of learn how to share, and interact with other children, how to manage their behavior, how they can understand that their own action have an impact on other people. So all those 7 areas of curriculum are the areas that the child will learn before they get to reception. Right. And that's why it's important to manage everything well, including managing the parents, because sometimes parents don't know how to parent their children.
And that, oh, sorry to cut you off. I can see that you're having a lovely time and you're actually like explaining the things that I believe that the parents need to know now, because the early foundation, like you said, is very important for the children.
Extremely important.
But right now, I'd like to focus on the program, the thing that you're running at the House of Parliament, which is Brit Afrique. I understand you've been running that since 2012. Could you talk a bit about that, the impact it has on the children, the reasons why you went into it, and what you've achieved from there, and what you still think you'll be achieving?
So 2005, we have an issue around parents not having a place to put their children. There was a lot of lack of play schemes around Hampton and Fulham. So I used to have parents just dropping their children on me because they want to go and walk, and they come to play with my children. But I end up having 20 children sometimes in my house.
I see.
Because of the working parent, because I'm on holiday, because I'm a teacher.
Right.
So it was getting to a stage that I was just try to take the children on a walking bus to park. But when it's raining, you don't get any place to take them. So we end up looking for a voluntary place where they can have shade, once there's rain. We approached few halls, and they all then said, yes, we can use the hall. And that's how we started the youth club, the youth scheme, and the holiday scheme inside the youth, when the parent would just drop £1 or bring their park lunch and then play for any extra activities that we have to do, taking them to swimming, or we can take them to bowling, take them for a movie. So I was just running that club with a volunteer just to give them a bit of fun during the 8 weeks period. But then it was becoming more than a club, because at the time when there was a need for children, there was a lot of stop and sash as they get older. So we had some young people that were like, they felt like they've been picked on by the officers, but the police are just doing their job. But there was a bit of issues with the youths and the police, and it was around the stop and sash. Because at the time when those boys were just hanging around, they were not carrying knives. We don't have this issue. They were just hanging around some of them like to chase up the girls, and we automatically always assume that because they're in the hood and they're hanging around in the dark areas, they must be doing something. But they're actually trying to socialize, to find their girlfriends or meet in the place where they know, which is in those days. I'm talking about some 20 years ago. But as it escalates now, we now know that those good boys or the young ones that are hanging around there because there's no meeting area are doing it because of their socializing. It's now actually not. The case has changed because now the park are used for fighting. And gangs go there to trash out their warfare. And really? So it's no longer a place where young people ordinarily genuinely hang around to use the park for rides and enjoy socializing with themselves. Parks have changed to where young people will hang around and smoke weed and do some things and ask others to come and meet up for fights. That's the difference between then and now. But what's actually causing now? Now there's less focus on family. So when a mother or a single parent or even 2 working parents have to go to work to pay mortgage, to pay for their mortgage, they have to do 2 jobs. So there's no subsidy in the I would say later on. So there was people were neglecting their duty, working hard to pay for their bills, pay for the children, and then the children were now hanging around on the streets and being groomed by gangs,
Right.
groomed by some big brothers who want to just lure them into drugs, and that has been happening. So parents were losing focus that things are happening with them around their nose. Even church, pastors, youth, a lot of church time that adults spend in church where the children are hanging around, lying that they might be at school. There was a lot of things that are going on that parents were not checking on. And then with the social media, it was easy to organize a lot of activities, unworldly activities and worldly activities. Right. So there are good youth and there are bad youth. But
sorry to cut you off. So do you think it's the parents' inattention, or because everybody has to go out and work, bills needs to get paid? But do you think it's the parents' inattention, or that need that, okay, I need to buy my children everything they need or everything they want? Do you think that has had a consequence on the youth we're bringing up today? And is that part of the reason why the violence is escalating?
Well, some parents are really good and some work around their children. Yes. And some parents will make sure that they have the provision or have other adults or other professionals, they link up. Right. Or some parents will take their children to after school club. Yes. So there are parents that are good, that are doing the right thing. Right. We're talking about few minorities. Okay. And these few minorities, probably sometimes you could look at the socio-economic background of these people. It could be that they haven't got their documents, and they haven't got a proper means of going out to work. Right. So that's one aspect of some parents that seems to be neglecting out of needs. They have to feed the children while they haven't got the right documents to work, or just until they're doing illegal jobs. Right. And they're abandoning those children. Why the children know that their parents are struggling, and somebody is offering them money to come and go and do a drug runs.
That's right.
This is where the problem. And early in children's center, we know, when I was working with the government at the children's center, we know parents that have potential to fall into those categories. So we always offer after school club for the children, so they stay in school and where they don't have to hang around. So by the time the parents finish work, they can come and pick them up, and so they're in a safe environment. Right. Now, some of that provision are still on, some are not. So still, for those parents that are in that category of where they don't have the documents and they're working illegally, or they're not able to do, those are the parents that need to be helped. Right. Because they're not neglecting their children on purpose. But some parents haven't got the priority. They want to buy Gucci, they want to buy all sorts of things, and they work too hard, and they believe that buying those children Nike trainers will replace love. But that's not true. You don't need your child to wear a designer wear before they can understand that you love them. In fact, the less you buy, the more love and attention you give them. You stay at home, you don't go to party every Sunday, every Saturday, and neglect them. That's part of the reason. So parents will come in, they work Monday to Friday, weekend, they are going to family party, the kids are left on their own. There's an aspect of neglect, emotional neglect and abuse, and on it's just like you're on monitored situation. Yeah, so those are the kids that are actually, some of these kids are the ones that are falling into these kind of gangs and being taken. And you know about the drug line, the county line now. The county line, yes. Again, they will know that there's no father in the house. Their mother is always working. They will tell the child, they will lie to them and take them away to outside London to use them for drug runs. Yeah. So kids are disappearing there. So there's a lot of things that are going on in families where children will be playing games with unknown adults. Yes. At their spare time, and these adults are groomers. Yes. So they're not aware that they're doing those kind of things, and by the time the child knows that, before they know it, the child has given all these details to the adults. And when there was a boy that was killed in Surrey by a groomer, after when he had a relationship with him, he asked him to come and meet him. Right. He went and met him, and he killed him. Okay. So there's a lot of, parents need to be more conscious. In the old days, I used to write in a magazine called Quality Parenting, about how we need to be looking at out for our children, differences, changes in them, how to keep an eye on them, to be honest. Is the kind of thing that I've always done in the past. So the youth scheme came about to tackle those issues, to give the underprivileged family the opportunity for them to be in the youth scheme. And that's how I got my medal from the Queen. Because I was doing it for, I started doing it from 2005. Yes. And then I was noticed at 2012. But within that, there was a lot of battles. Because here is this, we're talking to the police about how to be working with the children and looking out for intelligence-led stop and search. Right. Whereas at that time, they were not doing that intelligence-led stop and search. They were doing just, oh, that boy looks dodgy, that one, and he might be a graduate. So now, at that point, when Miss May was still the Home Secretary, we did a community engagement network, and then we realized that that's what's needed, and we wrote to Miss May, and they look at that, and that's why they asked police to start looking at the way they stop and start, because the riot of 2011 was part of the anger and the frustration that the young people have against the police.
Oh,
it's not the right.
I remember the riots.
It's,
Sorry to cut you off. Anybody that was involved in the riots or saw the riots, I remember that I was coming to work, and I came off the bus in Camberwell, and I came off the bus and I saw a gaggle of youths. When I say gaggle, and there was only one police officer there. Now, one thing that I noticed was, even though they damaged a lot of properties, they didn't touch people. I can vouch for that.
That's right.
But it was one of the scariest times of my life. And that, I know what you're saying, we'll still go back to it, especially the reason why you were giving the BEM. But in terms of the program, the Brita Freak that you're running in the House of Parliament, I'd like you to go more into details about it. How can it equip the children, but not only the children, the parents as well?
So when we were running the youth,
working with in
So when we were working within the youth, when we were running the youth in the at the youth scheme, we were getting a little bit of Heritage Lottery Fund to do some TV program, for them to learn how to do the design their website, and to start becoming an entrepreneur. We also ran the program with Ben TV, which we would like to do with you in future. We had 10,000 kind of grants, which we get them to start doing interviews for getting them ready for work. We placed some young people with John Lewis. We placed some young people with different employers and mentors. So that enabled us to do that. But after a while, the money wasn't forthcoming. We were helping young people to create a gap, the learning gap, to bridge the gap between their schoolwork. So we were running a homework club, we were running a maths and English class, and we were helping the children. So the young people are struggling with their GCSE maths. We have specialized teachers that were helping them with their maths so they can improve their grade and achievement and academic achievement. And now, touch wood, most of them are graduates.
Oh, beautiful.
Indeed. So that was one of the things that we were doing to close the gap between the deprived young people and the family, to support them. And once we then ran out of funding, we don't have money to bring, so we closed the center down. And I wrote to all the MPs. I remember the Greg Hand, one of the MP, and I said, look, I can't do this anymore. I'm using my own money to run a youth club, helping that family, and I don't think it's right. While other people are getting 100,000, 200,000, and I don't see what they're doing. So I wrote them a letter that we're closing down, and they offer us a place in the House of Parliament.
Oh, beautiful.
So
is that how you
we couldn't have up to now we still have our pool tables, all our resources in the place where we used to rent. But we're now in House of Parliament since 2012, providing an intergeneration events and community engagement events on various issues. And it enables us to actually speak directly to Parliament ministers of all parties.
Really?
So we're on different, and so we work with Imperial College on malaria projects for those young people who are becoming medicals, to start looking into Africa, to see how they can help with reducing malaria. Again, you're diverting them into something that is educational, scientifically proven, doing research work. And so the Imperial University students who are studying for doctoring, medical engineering, they are linking up with ministers who are running projects. So that's one of the things that we're doing so all party parliamentary group of malaria have had our support in bringing a lot of young people into their projects.
I see.
We also have various ministers. Right now there's a minister for work. There's the speaker have his own project, and we're working with various ministers of various political group, yellow, green, blue, and red. So that's what we're doing in helping, so we can expose the young people to that environment, and also in return for the minister to understand the underlying issues that young people are going through on a daily basis outside their remit. So it's that kind of exposure and that intergeneration opportunity that we're providing at the moment.
Fantastic, fantastic. I have to say this is the first time I'm hearing a couple of things, including ministers, having their own projects. Now, one of the reasons why I actually started this, project was because I don't like the way the mainstream media portrays who we are and what we are. See, this is a beautiful lady that we've been talking about. See the wealth of experience that she has. Those are the type of things I'm hoping that we can project. We can let the young people know that it's not all about negativity, it's not all about guns, it's not about violence, it's not all about, all those things. Once you're able to work hard towards it, these are the things that that should be coming your way. And that brings me to your 2012 honors that you got from the Queen. How did that come about? Why did she recognize the things that you were doing?
Well, I think the first time, one of the eye-opener to me was the fact that young people have so much zeal to learn and want to do well, but sometimes there's lack of exposure. So for example, if we don't have the youth scheme on the time before the riot, so riot didn't happen in Hamilton and Fulham because we stopped it. I was on the link, so when they asked me to come for a shopping spree, so I was asking, well, whose birthday is it, by the way? And this is before the riot. So part of the impact of what we were doing at that time was because I was exposed to knowing that there was something going on, and I was close to a lot of police officers that are helping the young people at the youth scheme. They understand that they were about to go for a fight and a spree, and they shot them down through the Scotland Yard. So that was a helpful thing that we did as to help the community, because Wesley, a shopping center, would have been completely robbed, or because it's not robbed. It was like they were protesting, they were rebellious.
Yes.
And they did smash some areas. They smashed up Mill War, the Conservative headquarters, a lot of places where they shouldn't. They went into police station. They did a lot of. But for the fact that someone like myself and other community youth leaders have had access, we didn't have Hamilton and Fulham. We didn't have a riot in Kensington, Chelsea, Hamilton and Fulham, Westminster, because our young people are well engaged, and they would rather tell the police what's going on rather than to get involved with crimes. And that's the part of impact that a small youth club can do into a community if it's well. And we did have good support then, because we have the police on us. They've always come. The police realize that the young people are angry, and they try to make up with them. And up to now, I give it to the police, Hamilton and Fulham Police, and Kensington, Chelsea, and also with Kingston Police. They are one of the best officers that other officers should be modeling, because they do well with young people, and they are very aware that they have needs and rights. So they don't feel disrespected in those, from the research that we did when we were still in that borough. And so we open it now. We've worked with other church, CSC at Balatra, at Peckham. The young people complained that they were having to be challenged by gangs on their way to church. They felt harassed. It's not just they fear different SPAC Nation, different youths from different churches and different religious groups they're being targeted by these gangs because they knew that they're obedient kids, and they want to target them so that they can use them to do their dirty work. So there's still a lot of work, and there's a lot of good detectives in Scotland Yard, black ethnic minority. I give it to them. They are really working hard to make sure that the youths are kept safe, risking their life, going on the streets every now and then on uniform. So our street is fairly safe, but it's only that people need to be exposing these things. Parents need to be exposing things that is unusual. If your child is bringing unusual things to hide, look around the house, count your knife in the kitchen. Your child might be protecting themselves, they might be tortured. Don't say because you're a pastor, blood of Jesus cover them. Blood of Jesus cover them, but practically, please look for telltale signs. If they're scared, I do a bit of random stuff and search in my house. And my children was like, Mom, what are you after? You can have my bag. I said, I know that I'm worried that if anything's happening, you might not tell me. And after a while, I did it for free, and I'm thinking, oh, what am I putting my kids through? They're not they just worry. I'm just worried, and they're worried as well. And a lot of young people are actually expressing concern that they're scared of the current situation. They've reduced going out. They don't think it's just been anyone can be targeted, and that's where the whole issue needs to be looked into, because we don't want to create a scary. So on the 12th. We're looking at the young people that are going into Oxford, that have been celebrating, working hard. So you're talking of 12th of this month? 12th of the month of February. We are going to award and celebrate those young people that are doing really well. Because we don't want to just count on stabbing here, stabbing there, which has been rampant. So we're looking to award and present them, with, just to kind of acknowledge what they're doing as well. So if you have a young person who's got A stars, any little things that you can, helping you at home, doing part-time job while they're studying, because there's a lot of them. Please do ask Britta Free to acknowledge them on the 12th of Feb at the House of Parliament at 6:30 for 7 start. So please send them down. Please,
you can write in the details. We'll pass it over, so we'll be able to
get in touch with Heritage TV.
Yes.
But you can go on the Eventbrite,
Yes.
look for Brit Afrique, and please sign in, register, and come. But give us a note and tell us that you're coming on the 12th,
on
so
the 12th.
we can yeah.
Right, on the 12th
accommodate
of this
you.
month.
12th of this month.
I'll be there as well. You'll be seeing this face there as well. You know, promoting and helping.
Definitely.
You know, because this is what we need to do. We need to bring out the positive sides of the community.
Yeah.
Like she said, it's not all about bashing and bashing and bashing and just bringing out the negative sides. There's a lot of people that's out there that are ready to help us. Once again, I'm Toyin Morafa, and I'm interviewing this young lady here today. I just have a couple of questions for you because you're in the educational area and we've got a lot of arguments that's been going on, or well, I'll say debate. People talk about the impact of two-parent families in the in a child's life as early as from when they're developing. So sometimes because of this, a lot of people do discriminate against single women. They're trying to bring up their children the best way they know how. How do you feel about this issue, especially since you're involved in children's lives from like 0 months to like at least 5 years?
I myself was married for 23 years,
right.
And if relationship doesn't always work out as everybody would think about.
Right.
But as soon as I discovered that relationship wasn't going well for me, I stepped out.
Oh, I see.
So I think we need to be looking at ourselves as adults.
Yes.
There's no point raising a child around domestic violence.
True.
It doesn't matter how loving and caring you are. That child, we're taking away the if a child is raised in an uncaring and unloving environment, they would not turn out to be loving and caring. We have to we have to understand that. And they might actually want to dislike relationship because of what they've experienced.
Right.
So a relationship is supposed to be loving, supposed to be caring, and once it's not going that way, I'm not against any parents, any dad, mom who wants to go their way. I think it should be done amicably, but that father needs to be responsible to stay in their children's life.
Right.
This is where things go wrong. I've heard about father that will just disappear, that will just go on and forget about, and then make another family and start having other babies. That is wrong. A lot of African men or African, Caribbean, white, European men, a lot of men are the ones that are causing the damage in their children's life right now because the children are angry. They couldn't understand. Daddy left, mommy left, and they're not coming back, and they're not talking to each other. We need to create an environment, even as a single parent, to still have that relationship with our children.
That's right.
Separation doesn't mean that you're separating from your children.
That's
it's just
right.
your relationship and your wife.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the big area that we need. Any father out there that has abandoned their kids, you're not doing them any favor. And to be completely honest, those children need you because they're your future. So that's what we need to be looking at. Relationship. I mean, my ex have a very good relationship with his children, and everybody moved on, but it's not a battlefield.
That's true.
So we need to be looking at that kind of opportunity that parents still need to talk to each other as an adult, civil and not abusive.
That's
and
true.
Any big good, most of the single moms that are doing a beautiful job there, I give it up to you. I take off my hat. I talk my heart for you because it's not easy to be a single mom, but you dedicate your life and time, and you would enjoy it. And so is single dad. We shouldn't have any reason to discriminate against a single mom because it's not their choice. And if they find themselves in a situation, we should be supporting them. I know that church, a big area where people they think when a single mom is single, they're taking their husband. That's negative. It's not every single woman that wants somebody else's husband. That's
true.
Nobody wants other people's baggage.
That's true.
If I may say. And nobody wants anybody. So I think women need to be confident that if they're single, you're single because it's not your fault. And if you're in an environment that is not supportive, move on to where you're going to get celebrated.
That's true.
Don't stay in an environment that doesn't celebrate and respect you. Because your children can sense it. And then as for the intentional breakup, there are women out there that are using benefits, kicking out their husband because they want to stay on benefits and use the children that is wrong. We've seen few of it in the past. I mean, benefit will come and go. You have 4 kids.
It does happen because a lot of people use that as argument.
Yes.
Please carry on here.
Yes, we've seen. I've seen parents when I was working at children's center that would use. They'll have. I mean, how can you have 4 children with 4 fathers? There's time to stop and say, okay, this relationship doesn't work. That doesn't work. But you don't have to have children with every. That's my opinion. That's my personal opinion. But if it then happened that first one wasn't good, second one wasn't good, third one, then we should start looking at putting pills in place. So we don't make another mistake, because you want a loving children, you want a loving relationship, you want a caring. But we found out that sometimes 1 in 5 of some women are actually they're having children because they want to have a social housing, they want to have benefits, and they don't want to work.
That's right.
1 in 5, and it's becoming more rampant, especially with the young upcoming moms. I haven't seen much of it around African Caribbean a lot, but it's very rampant in other. It's very rampant in every race and religion and culture.
So, do you think that is a reason? One thing I've always said is because a lot of parents, even though they're parents, but they were young when their parents were young when they had them, so they weren't equipped with parental skills. Are this part of the consequences that we're facing now? Because these people, when trained properly,
few parents do not have a clue how to be a parent.
Yes.
And I think part of what government should actually put in place now is maybe after marriage, they should be helping to prepare women for parenting classes, honestly. And I mean, the education that we used to have that incorporates home economics, agriculture science in the old days. Actually, one of the programs was shown on BBC recently about schools in the 60s. I was privileged to be at 60 schools in the early 60s and late 60s. And it was nice because you learn how to, in the home economics, you learn how to manage your budget, how to cook, how to, you know, kind of prepare you, even becoming a professional, but on the other side, how to look after your home.
Yes.
And how to manage your budget.
Yes.
But now, few moms live on fish and chips, KFC in the morning, McDonald's in the afternoon, and then they'll be crying that their credits, there's a problem with credits. What do you call the credits? Universal credits.
Yes.
But there's limit to what government can do, for God's sake. Let's try to be responsible. There's limit to, in Africa, seriously, women don't have that opportunity to get backed up. And they're struggling, and they still make it. You still have these women raising educated, highly educated children.
Yes.
So we can rely on government, because the benefit is there to support, and it's genuinely meant to be helping and supporting needy moms and single mom, and needy, vulnerable parents and children. And that's why I love this country. That needs to continue. But for the rest, and for the other bits and parents that are, parents are generally struggling as well. Some people will lose their job while they while they're on, you know, why they started the process of having a relationship.
Yes.
So that all those things are unseen. So again, those parents have the full right and entitlement to go and get the universal benefits. They are entitled to it. They should never feel guilty. But I'm talking about very, very few that have legs and arms and can walk, and they're still not doing
anything. Yes.
I mean, even when you're on benefit, you can still be doing volunteering.
Yes.
A lot of people will do professional studies. A lot of people will do some work to improve their skills. So there's a lot of things that the underground and underlying issue. Government needs to put money into helping women to get back to work, to train them. Not this talking shops business. We're talking about real women that really want to go. Professionals. Yes. How can you be a graduate and they offer you to go and work in McDonald's? That's unfair.
Yes. Absolutely.
So benefit office should not be pushing parents to go and work. A parent once was pushed to go and work in the cleaning in a refuse center where ex-offenders goes. I think that's wrong. They should be helping her as a civil engineer to get back into a pathway to gradually get into her profession. Yes. So I can see why sometimes some people feel stuck, and they are stuck in that benefit system because they can't find the right job to take them to their original roots. That is where we need the government to be helping the women, and they're looking into that. They've released 500,000 recently to help women in those kind of category. Hopefully, if there's genuine organization that can go for those kind of opportunities, they can tap into it. Because a well parent will bring and raise a well child, and they'll you know, if a parent is happy, they will be able to teach. You can tell that the child will not go out and want to stab everybody. So we need to be looking at those underground, all those underlying issues that is actually causing some of these problems that we're seeing on our streets. So children are very unloved.
Yes.
They're not feeling loved at all. To go and take somebody else's life, there's something going on for that child, which it's not an excuse.
Right.
It shouldn't be happening.
Yes.
It's barbaric.
Yes.
So what is happening? Why are they feeling like that? Why is they feeling so much hate to want to take somebody's life?
Right. So you know, when people bring kids to your nursery and you're watching over them, you're watching the children as well. What signs and symptoms, if there's any, do you think we should watch out for to see whether the child or the primary caregiver is going through a lot of problems, and where can we refer such people to, or what help do you think we can render that is out there that you can render to people like this?
So even though this was meant to be a private nursery at the time in the past, and I've had to help parents that are still having domestic violence issue going on at home, and they're scared to open up. So it's a safeguarding issue. So you have to look at how to write to other organizations, like even to report it, to say to the local authorities to help them, to give them family support.
I see.
So sometimes you have to do those things, and if you're a parent that are struggling, please open up to the school. They won't take your child. If you voluntarily tell the local authority that you're struggling, they cannot take your child. They will not.
Oh, so
no.
if you
tell them you're struggling, if you voluntarily approach that you're struggling and you need help,
but they still involve social services.
They will help you out.
The
social service, you would then say, because it was your right that you actually said you need the help. When you don't need the help, you can pull out and say, I'm okay now. Right. Thank you for giving me opportunity for school services. Thank you for supporting me with the family support worker. Thank you for helping my children to stay in the after school club and pay for them. Right. But right now, we're now fine. I've got a full-time job. I don't need your intervention anymore. And then you can step out. But people always think they have. It's when people don't tell authorities and they can see the telltale sign. For example, if a child is coming to school with a hose in their shoe, you know that there's a child abuse. It's not intentional, but there's a poverty, and there's more modern day poverty now than before. Yes, because people paying mortgage, paying rent, are struggling to look at food. Clothing might not be the priority, and in that sense, you're wearing a child a clothes that is not appropriate. So school will notice that the child is not wearing a full uniform and clean. And that's why they always get concerned and call social services. But what a parent should do when they're in that situation, when they can't afford to buy, even if you're illegal immigrant, you will get your document through that. Because the country is kind. They go out to fight for Afghanistan, fight for, they will not, the right of your right, when you need that kind of help, you write to them and tell them, look, my whole paper is in the home office.
So who do you write to? Is it your councillor?
Yeah, you can go to the councillor, and it's always good to go and see your MP as well. The councillor say, look, we're going through this. I can't feed my kids. Yes. Food bank is there as well.
Right. Food bank.
Food bank is there to help to fill the gap. Yes. You don't, especially if you don't have the documents to work or you're still struggling, don't put your kids through hunger.
So even if you haven't got the right papers, you can still access the food bank.
Yeah, definitely. It's not by referral. Google any food bank around you, and then they will let you know. And then I've had one parent will come up and explain that and I fought for parents' housing. I've had to, which is why the job is really difficult, because when you're doing this kind of a job, you sound like that you're doing A, Y, Z, and if you don't get that, if you don't have that right support, you yourself can break down.
Of course.
So, but I'm always happy to help, and most schools, especially with faith schools, they're happy and willing to help as well.
So do you deal with a lot of faith schools then? Yes,
I do, because sometimes all my kids went to faith school. I like how they instill morals and values into the young people. Right. Because it's about faith. So about not stealing, not telling lies, and little things that help to guide and protect children. It is taught in a non-religious way, but on a daily basis is embedded into the curriculum. So the kids understand that the value of people's life is they know that it's in the Bible that thou shalt not kill, and they said it on the school assembly that you cannot kill. So they understand that those little things help to reinstall morals, values, and religious belief that can help to guide them. In this kind of tough and difficult time, that everybody think killing is a fashion, carrying knife is a fashion, but there are laws, and in every religion, Muslim, Quran, whatever, there's always something that is against violence.
Of course.
So that's why religious schools are really important to me. Even my nursery myself is like, I use a persona to talk to you about morals and values. That's not caring. That's not sharing. You need to be nice. You need to be kind. So all those languages is actually letting children know that you're not. But the big thing that I think we need to bring back, and the government needs to help to support parents, is that we need to get the parents to have the parents need to be empowered.
That's true.
They need to be empowered to be able to not discipline the child in the way we're looking at it, to be able to stand up for the right to say, look, I'm the parents here. You're not going out all night tonight. You're 17 plus. So you're 16 plus. You're not going out to come back at 11 or 12 because authority will ask me, what am I doing as a responsible parent?
Yes.
If anything happened at that time, 9 o'clock is fair, 10 o'clock is fair. After 11, unless it's a family that you really know and they bring you back. So those guidelines, I've seen parents that just think it's fashionable. Let them go. You know, they're 16, they're 17. No, it's not right. It's not fair. You need to know where they're going. You need to know the family that they're going to stay with. You need to have an understanding of what the family are doing. Supposing this child is going off to a drug baron's home, all night they're going to be doing some cocaine.
That's true.
And you don't know, you think you know them, but you don't really know them.
True.
How about if they come back? How about if that child goes to a place where one of the grandparents or something is going to be a child abuser?
That's true.
Go out, give your child a bit of alcohol and they rape them at night. You've got to know where your child is going. You've got to have a clear understanding of who your children are mixing with and playing with and mingling with. And that's part of the reason why, that's one of the things that we can do to start protecting our children and safeguarding.
Oh, and that's one of the things we're looking sorry, I've got back cold. That's one of the reasons we're looking into. That's why we're trying to work with a lot of partners. As you can see, we were talking a little regarding the project that we're setting up, and I know you've been talking to some of our partners as well. This is happening. We, like every other person, we're tired of talking. All we want to see now is action.
Doing.
All we like to see is action. And the lady here, Michelle Akintoye, as you can see, she's already got her nursery school. Apart from
still
that,
need support.
we still eat every day, and that's one of the reasons why we're here. We need to support people like this. And your Breathe Afrique was happening on the 12th of February. Could you go into it a bit further? Because I keep interrupting you.
Yes,
I just want the public to be able to know, the youth to be able to know, it's time to celebrate them. It's time to bring out their achievement, even if it's just staying in school. Because in this day and age, a lot of them do not even stay in school. So I like, for them to be able to turn.
And even making helping you to cook at home, cleaning the house, doing errands. I mean, I know a young person that was actually doing the budget for his mom. Every week he's doing the economy and he would do all the house budgets, pay the bills. So the mother the mother just give him the money and he sort out the house thing. That to me is a child that needs to be recognized.
Of course.
So it's not just about doing big things, football, getting gold medals. Please appreciate your kids. Tell them you love them. Let them know that they are doing well, because our boys lack confidence. Let your children know that they are the best thing that happens to you in your life. Let them know that you love them. Let them know that anything that happens is unconditional. They can, even if they steal or do something, just open up and let mommy know, and mommy will not condemn you. But so that's the kind of thing that we need to be reinforcing. And part of what we're doing on the 12 is to say, look, our young people are doing a fantastic work, staying in school, studying for GCSE, running errands, looking after the younger ones, doing things in school that teachers have been telling you about. Send them in for a recognition. That they will be shouting out that, and we're calling on this person for doing this for the mom. Embarrass them with love, to let them that you appreciate them. So 12 on the Eventbrite is Breathe Afrique, celebrating our young people.
So
actually, the uniform. Sorry?
Where is it?
At the community room 14, 6:30 at the House of Parliament. 6:30 House of Parliament, community room 14 at through the Commonwealth Gate Green. Westminster Station is the closest station to the event venue. So Westminster itself, get on Westminster Station, out of Westminster into the House of Parliament, or register on Eventbrite to let us know that you're coming. And if you and to tell us about your child as well. A bit of comments.
Yes, you
can and just come in and embarrass them with love and say, actually, this I'm here to speak about my son. He's doing this, he's doing that. So we can in front of ministers.
Exactly, and that's another way now.
Smith,
Smith
is coming. Smith is the guy that bring Davido. Davido was meant to be coming. Davido might still come. There's going to be a lot of VIP personality that will be crashing in and crashing out. Just to say, oh, who's that kid that have done this, that have done that. So we've got Smith, who does a lot of youth work, and he's promoting art and culture. He employs a lot of young people. He's helping them to get into music. And he'll be there. It's called Smith.
Smith. Oh, Smith.
Or
And I'll be there as well.
Yeah.
If only to go and feed, you know,
Yeah.
my eyes.
And yeah, maybe that we don't be there. We don't know. It might pop in.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other unusual
coming.
professionals that will be coming, because a guy called Charles BEMl used to be a footballer. There's a lot
see.
here. It was actually on TV Adwa yesterday.
No.
So there's a lot of young, unusual professionals that will be coming in to see.
And that's the thing we're trying to promote. We're trying to promote people. We're trying to let them see positive areas, positive images, where to go. I mean, if they're going to the House of Parliament now to go and collect prizes, it's not just for kids that have got influences. It's not just for kids that come from privileged backgrounds. This is open to everybody, you see. So try and take advantage of this as much as possible. If you have a child out there that you think will probably go on the wrong path but still needs recognition, please contact them. Send the names over, you know, check the Eventbrite, because these are the things that we really need in our community these days. I'm tired of the way our communities have been
labeling the young people.
The way we've been labeling them.
Knife, gun, all we've seen is killing, gang fights in the park. No, let's change that rhythm. Let's change that story. Let's try and see what we as an adult need to be offering the young people. There's a lot going on and it shouldn't be happening. But if 3 adults from a church decided to do a football game with every Friday, every Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday evening with young people that are from single parent family, that will create an impact. Let's be honest. That will create an impact. Let's start the preaching and let's do the practical bits that we need to be doing. Heritage Television is doing their own bit. They've given me the platform to talk about the various opportunities that are out there. Okay, other TV follow suit. Church follow suit. Come, bring them down here to come and do a bit of a rap. Bring them to the Heritage TV because they're preparing to teach them about learning about media.
Thank you.
They're teaching them how to become a journalist. You know, there's a lot of fashion designing, and we will be working closely with them as well. So, link up with Heritage TV and see. Let's stop the fashion, chasing the fashion and chasing the parties. Let's get serious.
You heard it first. You heard it. I cannot even say it better myself. And in fact, I think that would be the right place to end this. Thank you very much, Ms. Akintoye. We really, really appreciate this. Even the government appreciates her. She is BEM. You understand? She's the first BEM that I've met, and I hope she won't be the last. But she is somebody that I can look up to as well, or somebody other people could look up to as well. Let's bring her. Let's celebrate our own community as well. Celebrate with us.
And we do help women as well. We support a lot of women, a lot of moms, to give them sense of direction, to support, to mentor them.
Right.
So I've been mentored by various women.
Beautiful.
The DUP leader, Ms. May. I've got a lot of mentor. So. And I mean, the first time the Prime Minister that I met the Prime Minister was before she became a Prime Minister.
Oh,
she's a very strong supporter of women. I met her in the CWO. I've met the DUP leader, Eileen Foster. I've nearly met the Scottish leader, and I'm linking up with those kind of women that I'm looking up to because they are strong women, and they're really trying their best in politics. And I think that's what we need to be looking at as well as an educated and intelligent women.
Thank you. And please, let's stop dumbing down education. Education is very important.
You
know, without education, you cannot empower yourself. Without education, you cannot even train yourself. You cannot teach yourself. I'm tired of people saying to our youth that, oh, you can still make it without education. I beg to differ. And these are women that are actually going out to prove it.
Education is an aspect that needs to be taken up. We have academic illiteracy.
Right, that's
because
true.
Some people are educated and they're not really using this as, you'll be shocked that you got PhD and you're acting like this. So I do agree with other form of education, like learning the skills and trade. Journalism is a form of education. Journalism empowered a lot of people. I was actually initially meant to be a journalist.
Oh, is it?
It was because I was scared of being killed like Delegiwa.
Oh.
Because I have big mouth.
Oh.
So I went to NIJ in Nigeria, Institute of Journalism, but I ran off when I came on holiday. Didn't go back. Right. But that was my mother knew that I'm passionate to speak out for the voiceless like yourself. So education, that part of education is quite an important education. Teaching someone to be empowering other people to speak out. Journalism is big. So is electrical engineering, And you don't have to go and study. Now they have an apprentice opportunity to learn as you go.
Yes.
So there's a lot of other opportunity where you don't have to be academically sitting in the classroom 24 hours.
24
if you're
hours,
bored.
exactly.
And it's really people that have needs.
Yes.
They might not be able to sit the academic education. So there
that's
are alternative
true.
education, which is the technological school and all this. You join in, and you'll still be fine.
And you still be
as long as you're able to express yourselves in the right place in the right time.
And if we have used our writing in that need assistance, we hope we can pass them on to you, and you'll be able to give them the relevant advice and assistance. I'm sure she will do more than a best, because as you can see from what she says, she is very passionate, and these are the type of people we're looking for.
And also, what I would say to young people is that if you're bored, you got energy.
Yes.
Honestly, go and join the British Army. You want to fly?
Yes.
You want to joyride? Go and join Neil Hamilton and do some racing.
So true.
If you want to become a tree climber, there's a lot. If you know that you got a niche for something and you're desperate to do it, go find. There's an opportunity there. Don't joyride. Don't drive without driver's license. Go to racing school. Start with the join the army if you got a lot of energy. Don't go to gym. It's a waste of money. By the time you do 27 press up, you'll be fit and healthy. You won't even need the gym. Yeah,
that's true.
Join the Royal Army. Join the Royal Air Force. Join the Sea Cadets. There's a lot. The country needs you.
That's true.
Yeah, don't waste your life on the park and stabbing stabbing people.
That's
go
true.
and join. Go and become a major. Become a red cap. Dictate. There's a lot. MI5 needs you, and that's where you get the respect. You don't get respect for the knife and gun. Oh, that's a stupid respect. I end up in prison. Please think wisely.
You heard it from her. You heard it from the lady. In fact, you heard it from the pro. I can't say any better than she has said now. Thank you very much, Mr. Akintoye, for today. I know this is our first time, but it won't be the last time. Like everybody knows, we're trying to arrange some set of interviews with a lot of people there, which include people from the House of Parliament as well. We've been reaching out to councillors who are very happy to join. There's a lot of councils out there as well that really want to come here and help. Or just to help these children, just to let them know that there's help out there.
Towards May, we're going to have a press conference that you'll be leading us with that. So we'll be having that opportunity to discuss this again in a bigger scale.
Okay, yes, we're happy. We're happy to come on board with you now. But however, today we've run out of time. I can talk and talk and talk about this the whole day. But unfortunately, my lady here has so many things to do. She's been booked by so many people. It was just a pleasure.
It's the Korean Embassy. The art and culture. Thank you for listening to me and thank you for watching. Keep watching Heritage TV. They're doing the best.
Thank you very much. And on that note, my name is Toyin Morafa. You're watching the Voice of the Voiceless. So we're going to say goodbye to you now, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Thank you. You have a wonderful afternoon.
Thanks.
My daughter-in-law. So how are you planning for my son's birthday? No, I have to cook up for her. Do you people have ogirisi there? No. It's okay. Okay, let me call you back. Mama Chiji, okay. Hi, so wait a market. Please pack some ogirisi. I am going to visit my son. My daughter-in-law. It's arranged. But you must use original red oil to prepare the soup. What? I'll call you back. Mama Chijo, please include Isio Morocco. My daughter-in-law. Everything is now set. But don't forget that gold wristwatch I saw the last time I visited you.
Now you can talk until you tire for just 11 kobo a second. Call all networks in Nigeria and 30 international destinations, including US, UK, China, Canada, and India for just 11 kobo per second. Dial *211# to activate.
That's Silk Boo-Boo.
The largest data network, Glow, grandmasters of data.
Heritage Television. Promoting African culture and heritage at its best. From talk shows that concern you to both local and international news that relates to you. From grassroots football to African children's programs. Heritage Television. We cover your social and special events like weddings, birthdays, church anniversaries and so on, and broadcast them live on our apps and online. Heritage Television, broadcasting everything about culture and heritage. Heritage Television. We've got it covered. Do download our apps on both Android, iOS, and Windows mobile platform. Heritage Television, your very own TV station.